Hello everyone, welcome to the AnyAUT Peach development project. Primarily the reason I'm here is to introduce you to the Peach project itself and what it is that we're planning to do and see who can join this project to be part of building the next version of AnyAUT. So there are a few updates that I have to give as to what AnyAUT.com Orange is all about, and then we will talk about the requirements that we've kind of put together for Peach, AnyAUT Peach. When I say Peach, I'm talking about AnyAUT Peach. How are these two versions different, and how we will go about working on this project. So fundamentally, team, it is very important for us to know the primary prerequisites to be part of this entire exercise. I'm assuming my audio and video is clear to all. You're able to hear me clearly. If anyone is having an issue, please check at your end, because the other members in the audience are able to. They're also able to see the screen as to what I'm writing. So the prerequisites, team, is very simple. To be able to really work on this, you need to be more of a Selenium developer. This is the fundamental most important thing. You need to be strong in core Java and maybe TestNG as well. What will additionally also help is to have a knowledge on Maven, Github. We will use Trello for our project management, and maybe a little bit of Jenkins, but not too much. And you should be someone who knows the automation frameworks very well, because the entire application of AnyAUT has been built with automation frameworks in mind. And when I say automation frameworks, I'm referring to the data-driven framework, keyword-driven framework, page object model. These are primarily what frameworks we're looking at. Now, ideally speaking, the participants that we're looking who will be part of this project and work with us have to be either JPACT members, CSDT, or Selenium LIVE Project members from ITeLearn. The reason I emphasize on this is AnyAUT is built based on what we've been teaching over the last few years at ITeLearn. It is primarily what is you're going to apply and take it to the next level, team. So it is very critical for you to have access to our tutorials and have been part of the training. That is the reason these prerequisites are very critical, that will help us to really deliver. Let's talk very briefly about AnyAUT Orange. It's a very simple application that we've kind of built. And if you look at the architecture itself of this tool, it has a web-based UI where the test management happens. It then has a core Selenium based and core Java based engine at the back end, where the automation test execution happens, where once it is executing on multiple browsers, it generates the reports and dashboards for us to go back and look at how things work in the any application that we're testing. I'm going to quickly sign in to one of these demo accounts and show you what we are. This is the first more stable release that we've kind of come up into the market with, and this is something that you can really focus and look at when you are practicing and trying to get more idea about AnyAUT. Just for your information, team, we are also starting the AACT training, which is the AnyAUT certified tester training from Monday. So in this training, I will do a detailed walkthrough of Orange. What are the features, how to manage the test, how to manage the test management part of it, and how the automation run happens at the back end. So team, I'm sure some of you are part of the programs that we have kind of put together that is helping to build a much better skill. A few of you might not be, but like I said, it is a prerequisite. We will need to emphasize this very strongly. So what I'm doing right now is I'm going to create a sheet, and I want each of you to try and take a minute and fill in the information as to who you are. I just want some basic details from your side. I'm going to quickly create this sheet and share it with all of you, so you can start filling it in. For those of you watching this session as a video, what you could do is you could click on the link that I'll provide along with this video that you can put there. Your first name, last name. I will not yet ask you to put an email or phone number, but definitely city and country is important. And are you an ITeLearn member? If you are an ITeLearn member, then you can mention which program you're part of. Is it JPACT, CSDT, just Selenium Training, and so on? If you're not a member, you can say no, and that's fine. At least we'll get the details. Also, go ahead and put your email and phone number, but I will not kind of display them to you all. At this point, I'm assuming that AnyAUT Peach development team. Did you all get the link, team, in the chat? I don't see anyone logging in. Get shareable link. Can edit. Use the second link that I put on chat, team, so you can start to edit. The other field that really help, team, is your skill, what you have, you believe your skill is. Now, for example, if I try and put my own things, don't write over someone else, please. That way we all maintain. Los Angeles, USA. I will say I'm JPACT. Phone number. Skill is primarily what we're talking about is I'm more of a certified Selenium developer. I can say Selenium developer. I'm good in Java. I'm good in Github. I'm good in TestNG frameworks. So that's what I would put for the skill column, team. So kindly take a minute, all of you, and do fill in this information. Based on this, we can make a lot of progress. I am aware that we did this exercise earlier, wherein I asked you all to fill in and we started to work on it. But what happened was we had to do an emergency release, and that became Orange. And for that, I really focused with my team in the offshore at Hyderabad. We sat down for a couple of months very strongly onto it and came up with Orange version. So the primary objective of Peach as to what the features will be and so on are all documented in Trello. I'm not sure if you're aware, but Trello is primarily a simple project and a task management tool. It is from Atlassian company, which is also the parent company for Jira. What it does is it helps us to maintain all the requirements in one place. So for example, if I look at where's Orange? the current version, what we're working on, and see some of the defects that we have or what we're working on right now. There are many things. So there are primarily 5 buckets, team, that we can talk about. Backlogs are pre-requirements, something that we have put in as a requirement. It could be a defect, it could be a feature, it could be a new requirement, and I'm showing you this for orange. Then once the requirement is much more clear, we move it into the requirements tab, and once the development is starting to work on it, the development team, they pull it into the development queue and they start working. Once the development is completed, it goes to the QA queue where the team sits down and tests it once again, and then it is either ready for deployment like you see here, or it has already been deployed. So in the current orange version, we did a lot of work, team, a lot of cleaning up, a lot of new features. Every small to large defect we've kind of handled and fixed. We still have a few more to do, and we will continue to do that. But while we are working on these requirements for orange, there is a new requirements that's come up for Trello. Trello will have more advanced features, and once I confirm who the team members will work on this, I will invite you all to Trello and we can work there as a team then. Now if I go back to our boards here, so there are a lot of other boards as well, and under Peach there are features that we've put for web UI. What is it that we're looking at? And there are features that we've put for the Selenium engine as well. It's primarily only 2 things, team. There's a web UI that helps to users to maintain and manage a strong test management tool, just like HPALM. And then there's the backend engine that helps to execute these tests that you created manually using Selenium WebDriver. That is what it does in simplest fashion. So there are a lot of features that we're working on, team. Now, for example, web UI, we're talking about a better landing page. The user management will change because orange is a single user, single application version. Peach will become a QA team version. So there'll be an admin and there'll be QA engineers who are there. So there's a lot in terms of interactions with each other, reusing what others have created, and the administrator has the visibility of how AnyAUT has been is being used and so on. Plan selection is basically orange continues to be a free version. Peach will become a premium paid version where the user has to pay a monthly license fee to be able to use the benefits of it. And then there are a lot of other features that we're kind of putting together, team. We're going to have a much better defect management. So there's good traceability from requirements all the way to defects in the web UI. So that will help to do trace back and see where the issues rise from. Drag and drop is a new user experience that we want to create, which will help to significantly speed up the entire process of creating these tests in the web front end that we have. Test data, test results, and so on. There's a lot of things we are doing there. Like I said, user level access, user management, workflow management, and so on. Most of these are web-based requirements, team. This is being built primarily on PHP, JavaScript, AngularJS, and a lot of HTML and CSS. That skills I'm not expecting that this audience will work on or have. But then there is a complete dedicated team in India who's specialized in that area, and they're going to be working onto it. From the Selenium core engine, that is where our focus will be as part of this team. In here, there are features that I'm going to be adding, which is a lot of things that we're going to put together team. One of the first things that will come as part of the Selenium engine is, let me go here. Is we're going to talk about parallel execution, how a user can try and run multiple tests parallelly on various browsers. We will look at how we could do with more rewrite of the, in fact, the rewrite of the entire code should be the first thing. We're going to rewrite the entire code team. What we have in orange, we're going to look at the thing, rewrite the entire code from orange to peach. While the orange code still is very functional and it does a good job, with the new architecture and new design that we're planning, we need to do a lot of rewriting. The few things that we will reuse, but overall we need to do a complete rewrite of it, and that means we're going to do Java, JUnit or TestNG to kind of enable all these things to happen. We will also look at how we can do more, have better test run features. When I said test run features, what I mean team is like we have the at before, at test and at after, we will be able to set some kind of a global settings / configurations for test runs. I'm assuming team in the audience, not everyone is still an expert on AnyAUT Orange. That challenge, we will solve it next week and we'll be able to take it forward from there. We will also have to look at how we can try and do some cloud-based execution. This may be optional right now, but that is something that we will get into. We will have, again, some of these features could go into the web UI and not necessarily into core engine, but they are linked. Move from Excel to a database, and we're using MySQL for this right now. While even if we move to a database instead of Excel, we still will have in Microsoft Excel feature to export the tests, because what that will do is an ability for the users to quickly switch between manual and automation testing as the need arises. We will also look at how the user management for a QA team is handled. We will be creating a mobile app that helps to send alerts, notifications, reports, and admin level dashboard on how things will run team. So there's a lot of exciting features that we're going to add to this product, and it has to be a very closely knitted thing. Security of the application of the app is key. So we'll focus on how we can keep this application highly secure, because every client that we will go to will look at their entire portfolio being secure on a server somewhere, of which we already have made some good progress on in upgrading our servers. We'll have to continue to work on that. So a lot of features are there which we're going to start putting up here, and primarily we'll create a wish list by taking feedback from the end users and the market, and that will help us to make sure that the peach is really a version of AnyAUT that can compete and become very well recognized in the QA industry. So that's in short as to what I'm looking at, and I've seen a lot of you have already filled in the details. Thank you so much for doing that. Really appreciate it. I'm sure this today being a festive day for a lot of people from India, we don't have too many participants, but with the video, you should be able to get a good clarity. At this time, I'm assuming that the brief idea of what we're looking at is done. I'll be glad to take questions. Before that, the way how will we work together is something that I want to quickly mention. One, we will use Trello for our project management. So we know exactly who is working on what tasks and so on. We will use premium version of GitHub to host our code that we work on. A specific time and schedule where we can meet as a team, and we can do this virtually. We don't have to be physically present for most of this, and that is where we collaborate and ensure we are on top of the project. This is not, it's very similar to the live projects that we have done at ITeLearn. The only difference is there'll be one team and tasks will be divided within the team. What is important, team, is at the beginning of this project, we need to know your core strength. Where is it that we could place you? Are you more better with the test management side of it, or are you comfortable with coding to a large extent? Are you very comfortable in building and creating automation frameworks and so on? But towards the end, you will be able to master and fill in the knowledge gaps. So while you're working in the team, you also get a visibility of what others are doing, how they are executing specific sections, and you should be able to learn from their experience on how they've built, and that is what you should look at. I would say ideally, team, around 2 to 3 hours per day is definitely needed to be able to work on this project. I know some of you are working full-time, have your personal commitments and so on, so we need to figure out how we coordinate and make this happen. We're looking at about 10 to 15 hours per week. Some of you could be more weekend friendly than weekdays, and that we will kind of put together. So from my side, team, that is what it is. I've got this sheet also going, which is good, and I'll be able to review from the sheet, and hopefully the people who've missed this session can go back and fill in that details. That will be the starting point. I know we have done this exercise earlier, a few months back, but at the same time, like we had to go into the emergency release, we could not get the new version to be working on. Now we're ready for it, and I think we should take a very positive and aggressive step to start executing. We'll also come up with a timeline once the requirements are frozen. We'll spend a lot of time in requirements gathering initially, ensure that we document it correctly, so the development will become easy. Now, please do note, team, it's not a training program. It is a project. It is an internship project that you could very well also put it on as part of your resume and give us as references that you worked on this project. We'll be glad to do that, be a reference for you. And you will need to spend some additional effort in understanding how whatever is required for the project, how do you go about acquiring that knowledge as and when. All right, great. I think that's about what I wanted to mention, team. I would love to open the audience in the session up for more Q&A. So let questions come in, please, in the Q&A. And then you can also raise your hand if you're interested in speaking. So I could unmute you at that time. I've shared the sheet in the Q&A in the chat. I'm redoing it. That's the last one, is the one that you can use. Can you please explain how many hours expected per day timings? Yes, I just did that. As mentioned earlier, as part of prerequisite, do I need to first attend the CSDT or JPACT program, then I can join AnyAUT program? Or can I do this program side by side? So if the skill is not very strong right now, you can be a participant and see what we are doing, but more of try and use whatever skill you have, because we're just not looking at all developers. Even people with manual testing background can really help to ensure that we're building the right tool. It doesn't have to be necessarily that you're already very strong in Selenium and Java as of now. Can we learn Selenium framework and work for this project and are able to give more than 15 hours? Yes, you can, like I said, but I will specifically guide you in saying that stay to some of the basic fundamentals that you know right now, and then as you participate in the project and as you learn, you can definitely apply, because speech is not a version that will get completed in 1 month or 2 months. I'm looking at more like 2 to 3 months to complete the first version of it, but it'll be an ongoing product development that will keep enhancing and coming up with features. It's a product team. It's a product that has to keep getting evolved as the market talks back to us. Can new beginner join? Like I said, I think is the same question that's getting asked. Yes, you can, but like I said, I don't want to push you in such a way that you will get lost in it. The good part is the team will really support and guide you as to what you should do and so on. The thing that you should not do is to put too much pressure on yourself. You should take it extremely easy. Now, for example, while we're talking about all of this, there's also a need to be testing AnyAUT Peach as we keep developing it. So while we're developing, someone has to sit down and do some amount of testing to make sure that the requirements are coming in correctly. And that, if you have basic manual testing skill, should be a great help. All right. More questions, team. I have a couple of hands raised. I'm going to try and unmute. In the meanwhile, please use the chat to put some questions. Oops, I don't have any hands raised. And team, please try and be as much verbal as you can. Like I said, it's a project. It's not where I'm teaching you. I'm more of a guide, more of your project manager who's saying which direction we should go. But we all need to collaborate and work together very strongly. I'm going to enjoy this project a lot, team. It's really going to be extremely interesting. There's one thing I can guarantee. Anyone who comes out of this project, works on this project, can go into the market and absolutely nail it. They can show their skill set as to what they've learned. For being a Selenium developer, this is a great starting point. Hi, Ruxana.
Hi, Karthik.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, how are you? I'm good, thank you. I just have a question. Like, one of the prerequisites you mentioned is that you expect a Selenium developer, but as for me, like, I speak for myself. I know like enough coding for automation frameworks. So, is that going to be a challenge for me?
Yeah, sure. So I'll tell you the history of AnyAUT Orange itself, the current version where the core engine has been developed. In the current core engine, it was again all students who just finished one training program, one batch of Selenium live training and project with me, and then I put them as part of the development of AnyAUT Orange. And initially, there were hesitations from the team as to will I be able to do and so on. But what I've realized is the team members have really put a lot of emphasis on learning a few skills that they're not aware and implementing it as part of the project. The good thing is, since we'll have many participants, it'll be easy for us to divide the tasks accordingly based on your skill level, confidence, and so on. That can, I think, we will learn and evolve as we go along. Like I said, whatever gaps are there, by the end of this project, they will get totally filled. That is going to be very exciting for most audience members, most of the participants. Um, there's one more thing that I wanted to say. Yes, the Selenium Live project that we just did, I'm not sure if you were part of it as well.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, there was brilliant work that the team put in. The kind of exploration that they did, which was much beyond the training that I had, and they came up with different flavors of it, and that basically proves as to how much we are eager to learn and experiment and start evolving. What is most critical is ensuring the requirements are clear. There's no confusion in terms of are we doing this or not. Once we have the clarity, we know exactly what we will use, what tools and skills, and we'll go about doing it. And we'll work as a team on this. So that should not be a problem.
Karthik, I have another question.
Mhm.
So is it going to be like, like last time, like when we worked on AnyAUT, like it was like more like agile, like, we used to have like the Scrum meetings every day. So are we going to follow like that approach, or just like twice a week we meet with like the either Saqib or you?
Okay, so
What should the approach be like, for this speech version?
we may start with more like 3 or 4 days a week, and then I think 3 to 4 days, if we can meet up and have our stand-up meetings on how we're progressing, that's good enough. We will have to meet very, very regularly. Otherwise, things will fall apart very easily. Now, will I be part
Okay,
of
thank
it,
you, Karthik.
or do I expect everyone to be part? We're not sure yet. We'll have definitely one project manager who's there, very active, along with me. So we are going in the right direction. We will have to meet almost daily to make this happen.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else has a question that you want to raise your hand, and maybe I can unmute you, team? Not many participants have joined today. I know it's a Friday evening plus a festive thing. So there are only about 30 participants right now in the session. But let me see if the questions are there. Is this paid internship? It is. Okay, Sheetal, here is how I'll put it. There are two ways for me to understand if you can be a great fit. Like I said, Peach version is a long-term vision. It's not a short-term. Out of the participants who work on this project and are able to showcase their skill and their dedication to it, is more like the interview process. So we're gonna get to assess the right fitment both from your side and our side, and then we will convert you into something a little bit more long term. Is the hours flexible? I think are the hours flexible is a better question, Karthik, or should it be the same time every day? I don't think we'll do. I'm not sure, team. That's another question. Should we do morning US or evening US? That's first question that comes up. Because The team in India has to participate in a lot of these calls as well. So we'll need to figure out a good time. And there are a lot of other trainings that we are going on with ITeLearn. I cannot overlap with them. So I'll need to plan that. I am contemplating more like a morning US than evening US. So right now, for example, it's 8:15 p.m. and it's already 11:15 in the East Coast. A lot of you must be from the East Coast or Central. So I don't want to be able to push it too late for you also. Another question that's there. I'm CSDT member and I'm interested to work on a AnyAUT Peach, but the main problem is 7:30 Pacific means 3:30 a.m. BST or UK here in the morning in UK. So it would not be possible for me to attend the sessions on regular basis. Can I still be part of the team by contacting the team members? Yes. So what we will do is when we have these daily meetings, the same question that Ruxana was asking, we will put the minutes down. We'll summarize what is it that we've come up with. We'll also have a recording for that session that you can look at, because I'm sure there are people from various parts of the globe who will want to participate. It may not be a convenient time for all of us. We'll see the best suitable time that at least most of us can. For the others, we'll have the minutes of meeting documents and the video that you can take it offline and look at it. Come on, team. This is your chance to ask questions. Really come up with what you think or anything. Let it be very free, team. Let it be an open session. I'm just quickly checking if there's anyone from the India team right now. You told us that you're looking for 500 full-time automation developers soon as Verkasa vision. You're going to hire us in future. Absolutely, Ahmed. See, what happens is very simple. When we talk about business in general, right? It is, unless you put something in action, you won't get the results. So first and foremost thing is we require to have a strong, skilled and resourceful technical team, and we're talking about QA automation engineers. That's what we're looking at. We're looking at Selenium Developer specifically. We're looking at AnyAUT certified testers and AnyAUT certified developers. As we speak, every month we are recruiting almost about 10 to 15 people in the Hyderabad office, and pretty soon the first office will get filled up with the candidates, and we will need to expand into a different space. We are also talking about how we can reach out to a second office within Hyderabad and maybe then expand later to other parts. Are there going to be people who will work out of LA? Very high possibility, yes. Are there going to be people who will work remotely and be available? Yes. The reason that I put a number of 500 team is very simple. It's a mathematical calculation based on how we provide services. AnyAUT as a product by itself is not something that Verkasa as an organization may make lot of revenue from. Not immediately, it takes time. Product development life cycle is a very, very different ball game. But what will happen is when it comes to implementing AnyAUT at any client place, maintaining it and so on, we need experts on it. And those are the AACTs and AACDs. And that is where the core revenues will raise for the organization. And hence it is very critical for us to build that kind of a team. Will we get all the 500 people immediately in the next 1 year? I don't think so. The way we have to do it is we have to start getting 10, 20, 10, 20 and keep adding, grooming them, training them, making them more AnyAUT certified developers, testers, and architects. And as we go about with our sales effort, as the projects come in, we'll have to balance that. So yes, to answer your question, I'm 500 would be a lower number, team. It's a very, very sober number. We're looking more between 1,000 to 1,500 at least to be able to achieve this vision. We need a lot of good people. That's the only way we can really take on as a strong QA automation services company. When is this project going to start? So the project is already started. So we are now looking at who will be part of it. From Monday, I'm going to do the AnyAUT tester training, certified tester. That will give you a good idea. And then followed by AnyAUT certified developer training. That will be a detailed code walkthrough of the Orange. So that will basically give you all the information of where we are with the current version. What we wish to do in Peach will be the requirements that we will build. So this is the orientation to the project team. It's more like a kickoff. Once I put the team together, I know I invited everyone to join this, so you get a chance to know what we're doing. Once the team is finalized, we will start working aggressively from this coming week. When do you have to QA session? Guys, can I request everyone be very conscious of your English that you write. It's very easy to make spell errors. I personally keep looking at it and correct it because that's my duty as a teacher. You will have to improve in your English team. I see a lot of you being a little careless, if I may say that. And the reason I'm very emphasizing on that is we as QA analysts, automation engineers, and so on, our communication is very critical. Our verbal, written communication has to be very clear, has to be absolutely grammar error free. Okay, so no grammatical errors, please. Give it a conscious attempt. Read yourself if that makes sense and try and make corrections, because none of us were born with an English background. I am assuming most of us, right? It's not our mother tongue. It is most of the audience currently. So but then we learned it, so it will not be tough for us to push it further. Like, I'm trying to read this question now, I'm not able to make sense. When do you have to QA session? I see this one is more for dev. So can you please correct that so it'll be easy for me to address? Will the task in team will be allotted as per skill as well guidance for newer batch members? Guys, come on, you need to do much better on English, please. Tasks will be assigned based on your skill level and based on how we see, and we will reassess every week on how the progress is. That will give us a strong hold on the project. What is very critical is the project itself, team, ensuring that Peach is going the right direction. And that means that if we are honestly not good in some area, that's fine. We'll experiment, we'll try, we'll give it our best effort. If we cannot, no problem. There are a lot of other things within the project that I'm sure you can do. There's business analysis that we need to do, requirements, documentation, creating project reports, testing what we're doing, manual testing, and so on. So there's a lot of opportunity for many of you on this. Is there any chance of starting offices at Bangalore, Chennai, Kochi locations in the coming future? Definitely yes, but it's too early for me to comment on that. See, what happens with location is, number one, as you also know, we are building this QA on air platform for more freelance. So that way we'll be able to do some offer freelance activities for our customers. What happens with location is it should be more organic than induced. Organic in the sense, our clients, as we do a lot of sales effort, will be the ones to decide. And just for information, team, I don't get too many opportunities to share this news, but we're building an extremely strong sales team in India. We already have about 5-6 people onboarded in the last 2 to 3 months, and we have some senior sales leaders who are joining in by mid of November. And they've gonna really help us take our services and product into the market and start getting some enthusiasm from our prospective clients that we could close. I'm from Hyderabad. I would like to know office location in Hyderabad. The office that we have is in Dr. A. Saranagar, Secunderabad. We're also planning to create one more, maybe in about 3 to 6 months in Madhapur, where the growth will happen because the current office cannot hold more than 65 to 70 people. Team, come on, questions anymore? If not, then we can sign up and then catch up in the next session. AnyAUT certified tester training, definitely attend, and the AnyAUT certified developer training also. It is gonna help to take us to what level is needed for our peach development. All right, team, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining in. Appreciate it. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week. Take care, all of you. Bye now. Thank you all.